is my honor to present this next Geek of the Week to you. And my respect for this gentleman is so high that I even took the extreme occasion to actually dress. In many ways, I would say was considering just whom to pick. My first thought was, wow, I've got to follow the traditions. I've got to reach down and look for someone, you know, whom I neither know, and I don't know anyone personally except maybe a small handful of people on the Geek. But more importantly, not from my country. And there may be a small number of people not from my country whom I interact with at all. Many of them are already holders of past Geek of the Week honors, whatever. So, for myself, I started trying to search to see, okay, what about, you know, these counterparts of mine, because I see people who put out a lot of videos, and I looked for a number of them, and I would be completely unable to judge the quality of, say, a foreign language video. And those who generated the most of them and had the most thumbs or whatever, they had already been nominated. And so I decided, like any good Roman would, I would allow the tradition to erode a little bit. And it's not like it hasn't elsewhere. I see even in the last, 15 or so, a couple of places where it went US. I picked someone not from my state. States are quite large, so perhaps that's helpful. But the biggest thing was, taking that one consideration away, there was no question in my mind who I wanted to follow me here, for a number of reasons. One is, his videos absolutely entrance me in terms of just the artistic side of them, rather than any particular gaming insight or anything. But he is showing a game, and he's talking about it, and he's giving his honest feelings about it, and not just reviews, but his playthroughs. He's got this wonderfully interesting means of generating solitary plays and creating all these different characters who are playing the game, all sitting there and competing with it. Hold on. Yeah. So, before that interruption, a way of making these games more real for him and more like a real multiplayer experience, and a way of describing the games with characters that's very lovely. But far more than that is the composition, the angles of the shots, the choices. This is someone who knows what he's doing with a camera, unlike me, and someone with a tremendous presence there. But more than that, a willingness to actually work and put some effort into what he's producing and giving to us. Of course, I'm not willing to do that. Which is why I'll always be stuck where I am, whereas his videos are very clearly progressing, growing, becoming more interesting. He's willing to experiment with different things, see what works where. And all that said, all the same, unlike me, he hasn't just been throwing out tons and tons of schlock. Instead, these carefully crafted things obviously take more effort. And unlike me, I believe he has a life. At the very least, he has a family. And from what I understand, a business. So it must be much more difficult to put out these works of himself, not just in conceiving them, but in getting them to us in that perfect form that he desires. Most produced videos are more about graphic effects or this fake sort of persona who's happy and excited about the game. Here, we're going to play this, you know, type of attitude. Nah, no one quite that bad, but... And maybe some graphics and music and this, that, and the other. This person doesn't do that. All the flash, and I usually scorn flash, but not of this type. All that is, it's just his soul coming out. I mean, he knows how to craft what he wants to show, but it's what he wants to show that's important here, and that is what is more exciting than, say, what I'd present. Anyway, without any further ado, I hand over, and there, you see. When I started thinking of letting tradition erode, I started thinking, where am I here? Where am I? Yes, there's one of the laws in dysfunction of Rome allows someone to simply say, successive terms aren't that bad a thing. I think I'll just remain consul. A step towards consul for life, no? Anyway, certainly there was kind of an amusing thought of what would happen if I pick myself again, if I violate all the principles. But no, too much a creature of rules, although I love my amusements, to actually test that. And you know, it's not like I have any power, right? Someone else would step in and say, no. So anyway, without further ado, I hereby hand things over to the new Geek of the Week. Hello, Gregor.